Hey everybody, Conda here. So today I wanted to make a video in regards to how to become the most confident version with yourself. I'm going to give you 3 steps in hopes that you take the initiative to want to have a better relationship with yourself, and that's only going to spread to other people and to your marriage, potential marriage, and all that good stuff. I'm going to try to keep this video short. Again, disclaimer, I am not a medical professional. Please seek medical help if you are in need of assistance of that. So let's get straight to the video. I actually have a flowers from the back, and my girl actually, we did like a little hotel birthday, and so it's cute little tulips and stuff like that. But I think it's cute. Now let's get to it, okay? I'm gonna take you back to when Conde really started waking up, which was around 19. And the reason why I woke up is because I realized my friendships kept falling apart. I try to hold on to relationships, and I felt like I was one side. I felt like I was the only one really doing the most, okay? Meaning like it was like 100. At first it was like a honeymoon love bomb, and then it eventually faded into I felt like I was the man, the woman, and everything, trying to keep something together. And the beautiful part about a woman or a man is that we have this deep desire to almost sacrifice ourselves for the sake of something. I mean, motherhood is an example of that. But at the same time, if it's with the wrong person and you haven't done the work, because it takes 2 right parties, then you're going to manifest something that you don't want. And I always say, don't manifest out of trauma. So the first step is to be aware. And I talk about this on my TikTok, my Instagram, is you can't be aware if you don't know. And you can't know what you don't feel. So the pain has to be so great, so deep, that you're willing to step back and not get to relationships for a while until you can figure out how to get a relationship with yourself. And so Conde was always looking for love, thinking as society has programmed, it's out there. And it took me 4 years, but 4 or 5 years, but it was always in here. And you know, you hear the term all the time, but it's not really until you take initiative and go in that world that you finally realize this is what they're talking about. And so the moment I realized that my relationships, again, it was a habit, was the first relationship, something happened and I found myself in my car. Okay, the second relationship, something happened, I found myself back at my mom's house. Third relationship, it just was not it. And so every single time, how is it that I enter the relationship giving more but receiving less? And I realized is that I went with the wrong intention and I was not aware. It took a 3rd time. And this is something ancestral. Why it feels so heavy is because your ancestors never had the time to reflect and to think. They always were in survival mode. This is why healing is hard, just because it's an accumulation of the ancestral wisdom and trauma and DNA. And what you don't heal, it'll be passed on to different relationships and generations. So when you take the initiative to be self-aware, you're shining light in all the shadow selves of you, but also you're healing your ancestors. You're honoring them because they didn't have a chance to honor themselves. They were too busy trying to fight to survive. And so when you are aware, right, and you realize, crap, like I've been repeating the cycle of 3 relationships, Conde, I beat myself down so much because in our culture, I'm a Mon woman. In our culture, it's like, you find a man, it's perfect, you marry, you have kids. So I tried to piece these guys like they were my husband, but they were just little boys. And I had a lot of growing up to do on my part. I was very much giving so much, but I wasn't taking full accountability for myself. That's on me as well. And when you experience trauma, and I feel like in my spirit is that to try to compensate and understand, you will overdo things. And not only will you overdo things to try to piece things together, you blame yourself for most of it, because at least you'd understand because they left because of you. But that is the biggest lie. So when I was waking up to the self-awareness, I also didn't realize that I blamed myself, but not from a place of ownership, of beating myself down. And I never let them take accountability. And so in some way, shape, or form, I allowed this to happen. And I saw a quote where it was like, fear is simply you not establishing your boundaries and negotiating with the shadow self. And so every time you don't place a boundary, every time you don't love yourself, you're telling this shadow version, this fear, that, hey, it's okay. Come hurt me, come into my life and take away things. So I didn't know this type of wisdom. I didn't know what self-awareness was, and I was just trying to figure it out. Step 1 is self-awareness. Okay, so I realized I want to love myself. I can't help but feel so sad all the time, and nothing is going right. And it was like repetition, repeated mistakes and friendships falling apart, relationships falling apart, and my heart was so closed off. I mean, like, it really does suck. And I was so much in my body. I used promiscuity. I'm not one of those girls. What I'm saying is that I didn't realize I was over sexualizing myself. And a girl, I grew up, you know, with a father but not a dad, right? And so, and a lot of you guys have experienced that, where you want to be led by the masculine figure. So I didn't just have to lead myself. I had to lead my family. I had to lead my life. I didn't know what I was doing. And my energy was like ciphered into 16 different outlets. And so I had no time to love myself or be self-aware. And I was constantly in survival. So my first step was, I want to love myself. So what does that look like? The second step is to create a skill. And really, really simple, right? I was like, it's simple, but it's so complex, because you'll hear different gurus talk about, this is what you should do, this is what you should do, and you should do this. And so I was spending money on courses, classes, supplements, like, oh, this is what love is, this is not what love is. So from 19 till up until really this year, I was like scrambling trying to find out what love is. Like, what do you mean? Like, you know, I see families all the time who say they love each other. I see my friends have healthy relationships with their family, and I'm like, is there something wrong with me? Like, I mean, I understand the concept of love in a healthy relationship, but I haven't embodied or felt it. And so I kept honing down at the skills. I kept refining it and refining it and refining it, and trial and tribulation. And I finally understand love is an action despite the feeling. That doesn't mean there isn't any feeling. It just means that despite the turmoils and the constant flow and the waves of life, what remains constant is you showing up for you. And then I finally, on my 24th birthday, right, which is, you know, a couple days ago, I was crying so much, and I don't know where these tears came from, but I truly do believe it was ancestral and it was godly, because I was like just writing and journaling, and I finally understood and felt love. I'm 24, and it's so insane that I lived my whole life not of that. You know, I lived my life in lack and fear and doubt and anxiety, and thinking of these relationships. And by the way, a real relationship is healthy. A real relationship is beautiful. So if your relationships and friendships fell apart, they weren't relationships or friendships, okay? So were you truly ever in a relationship, or was it just a situationship that you labeled as a relationship, okay? And so I didn't just build this confidence in this dark phase of my life. Excuse me. I promised to love myself first and put myself first, no matter how deep the programs are, to want a man to stay, to want a friend to stay, willing to do anything and everything, and being so scared to open up and so scared to date again. And the third, like, obviously, you know, awareness, skill, and implementation, right? And so this is what it looks like. I'm still working, busting my ass off 16, 20-hour days. I'm still going to the gym. I'm still reading and journaling. But there'll be spurts of realizations and moments where I'm crying, and I'm doing these journal prompts. I'm doing these readings and these meditations constantly, back to back to back. And so people think when you like become the best version of yourself, or how to be confident, or how to heal yourself, any desire trait that you want to have, that it looks like school. It's not. Like, what I mean is that we think healing is, you know, you show up in class, you graduate, and you move on. Healing is not linear. It is quantum. Meaning, if you're trying to embody confidence, you're not going to embody it the next day or the next month. It'll take a situation and the willingness to recognize your self-worth to become confident. And that is what they don't tell you in the world of self-development, and just like being the best version of yourself is, there's no set point on when you will feel something. You know it's coming, but it is the sincere faith and love in yourself, the journey to doing so despite that lack of feeling. This is why anxiety's worst enemy is action. So that's why love is the action despite the feeling, because you don't know when you'll feel loved, you don't know when you'll feel confident, you don't know if someone will choose you, you don't know if the friendships work out, or the business will work out, or if you'll ever be pregnant or have a family or whatever desire you have. but you're willing to do the action anyway. And you're willing to prove to yourself that you've got what it takes to live in that reality. So for me, I wasn't even aware that I didn't love myself, even though I would post about it, I would talk about it. The true embodiment, it wasn't until on my 24th birthday, you know, and in those previous situationships is what they really are. I told these people, oh my gosh, I love you so much. Like, you know, but I knew deep down my heart was closed, but I wanted to love so bad. I don't care how stupid. I don't care if they save it back. I don't care. I'm willing to tell someone that I love them, that God loves them, even if I don't feel it right now. And that is a part of building your confidence and just really being the best version of yourself, is that like, you're not willing to spread this disease that's within you. Until this is cured, you're not going to spread it, right? You're going to only spread love and spread light and positivity. So right now I'm in my state where I'm trusting myself again to talk to people, friendships, maybe like even opening up to a new relationship. Right now Kande is just single. She's trying to become the right partner and preparing for my husband and whoever he is or what God has. And also me preparing for the $1 million business, preparing for the pregnancy and the family and all that, and staying in my lane. And so again, to wrap this video up, confidence is something that you don't have, it's something that you do. Okay? And to become the best version of yourself and to embody anything from love to confidence to peace to joy, whatever that is, it's going to require awareness. It's going to require skill and implementation. And please, please, please don't be discouraged when you hear these. Like, don't put somebody on a pedestal because they're flesh and blood. The difference is just the intensity and the experience and the time. That's it. There's nothing different. Okay, because I bought a lot of courses and classes. I read a lot of books. I'm thinking I need to do the next thing. I need to do the next thing. Like, oh, this course isn't the best one. I need the best one. I need to, so that way I can feel better about myself. But I realized, why am I going to them to feel that? That doesn't mean I'm not going to use the resources and take criticism and then grow and heal and reflect. I'm simply saying I operated from a place of I'm lacking something and I need someone else to fill this void. So when you're trying to seek the embodiment of love or the divine femininity and all that, yes, it's important to have resources and to implement, but don't you for 1 second think that someone has to come and save you. You have what it takes. Be your own damn guru. Okay? Solve that problem. You absolutely have the knowledge and the power and what it takes. And it can be very discouraging because it's not like someone is going to come and save you. The only person coming to save you is the version of yourself that is so tired of the situation you're in right now. Seriously. And that is my quote that I've learned today, was that, like, are you tired of yourself? Like, are you so tired of being in the same reality that you have no choice but to tap into a different reality? And if you really think about it, these gurus, these mentors are simply versions of yourself that you want. Okay, even though they have different bodies, different lives, if you admire a characteristic, and if we are all one, then why not ask for help? Why not be so tired of yourself already that you're willing to do anything and everything to be better, to be happier within yourself? And healing and being the best version of yourself is one of those things that no one can do for you. And just because you have a car, you have money, you have a relationship, doesn't actually mean you're fulfilled. And that's something that I felt like is my spirit. Was I thought if I had a relationship or if I had the right sales job or make 6 figures, oh, maybe this void will go away. Well, guess what? At one point I had them and it never went away. And so what did become my shield and my medicine to fill this void in my heart was the desire and the willingness, the awareness, the skill, and the implementation, okay, to be that version of myself. And it is a very, very lonely, but not like, how can I say this? When you're going through this process of unbecoming everything and becoming the version that was always there, it's going to feel like it's alone. And the reason why it's alone is you're not just filtering out everything, but you literally have to trust yourself that who you will become must be greater than who you are now, and that there's other like-minded people that are the same, going through the same journey as you. This is exactly why Lambo has 2 seats and the school bus has 35. Okay, and I'm gonna leave it at that. I love you guys so much. This is your sign. If you know that you're worthy of a better life, a better relationship, a better business, a better partner, marriage, then trust your intuition, okay? And don't negotiate with the fear. And I love you guys. And like I always say, be fruitful, go forth and multiply Christ consciousness.